Hi friends, welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, we've got some new drugstore launches to talk about, to try on. I'm going to give you my thoughts as I always do. I'm going to show you the product up close, give you my thoughts on the formula, how it performs, and if I have any comparisons that come to mind, I will also share those with you. Since we have so much to talk about, let's just go ahead and jump right on in. As you can tell, I already have my brows done. There are no new launches for brows that I have purchased, so I just use my normal go-to products. Everything is going to be listed and linked for you down below. All the new products and everything else that I'm using that is incorporated into this video to do a full face. So now we have to actually apply some makeup. So let's go ahead and do some primer and foundation. I've recently gotten back into the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. That is a mouthful, say that 10 times fast, but this is a nice, really basic primer that is great for all skin types. Comes out kind of like a light pinky, kind of milky shade, but it kind of blends in, goes clear when you put it on. I'm gonna take that primer with my fingers and just blend that right on in, right over my skincare. I do have that already complete. That was done about 30 minutes ago. So I feel like everything is going to blend nicely. I let my skincare sink in for a little bit before applying makeup. Since I'm going to be using some new products for under the eyes like concealer or brightener, I'm also going to use new bronzers and blushes. I want to pick products from my collection that are also drugstore to keep it all drugstore related, but I also want to pick things that I can rely on, that I know are going to work and wear well throughout the day. Even with new products added on top, they are products that I can depend on. So I'm going to go in with one of my favorites, the tinted serum from L'Oreal. This is one of my faves. I wear the shade 0.5-2, very light. I'm going to blend this in with a brush, and I typically use a brush that looks like this. This is an It Cosmetics double-ended brush, which is actually a really great brush. Kind of pricey, but it's a very good brush for blending in products, and I just love how it gives like an airbrush finish to the foundation. So I'm going to use that to apply almost a dropper full, just to create an even canvas, kind of cover up some little blemishes that I've got going on, especially on this side. I'm going to do some things out of order than I typically go for. Usually I go for concealer and brightener at this point since the foundation is done, but we're going to actually move into cream bronzers, and I'm going to use my first new product, and that is a cream bronzer from Morphe. These are called the Sudden Heat Bronzing Sticks. So I pulled it up on the Ulta site. There are 5 shades total. They retail for $15. On the Ulta app, it says that this is an ultra creamy yet lightweight formula enriched with vitamin E, jojoba oil, glides on luxuriously and melts on for a seamless, long-lasting, natural, soft, matte bronze look. There are 5 shades available from light to the deepest shades. So this one that I have is the shade called Flicker for fair to light with warm, neutral undertones. Let me just swatch it for you. It's very, very creamy, very soft. So let's go ahead and apply. I think I'm just going to work off of that swatch first. And I'm going to go into one of my go-to brushes, the Dual Complexion brush from e.l.f. I'm going to pick up some of that and just start warming up my complexion. Now you could go ahead and swipe across your face. A lot of people like doing it. I see it in videos, over on socials. You know, you do what you want to do. I like to work off the back of my hand just because I like to be able to control the product a little bit more. So I am going to build up some more. I feel like I used up all of that. But that is blending in pretty nicely. And I like that this fair shade isn't too light and it has a nice amount of warmth, which is exactly what a bronzer is supposed to do. I'm not looking for bronzers that have too much of a cool tone because then it kind of leans into that contour type of product. So I like that it's warm, but it's not orangey. And so far it seems to be blending right over my foundation really, really nicely. And I am impressed that this blended out nicely. It's not the Morphe that we're used to from way back in the day. They've completely revamped the whole brand, the whole everything about it. So far this is actually good. And just a quick side note, I did have a subscriber ask me to review the new Morphe brushes, so I ordered a bunch of the brushes that I have been wanting to try. I do have a few, but I wanted to expand my collection, so be on the lookout for that. Subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. I'm going to do a full in-depth review of those brushes and kind of doing my makeup with them, so stay tuned because I think that's going to be a really good one. And I also think I'm going to do a Morphe one brand video using their makeup products. So if you're interested in that, let me know by leaving me a comment or a thumbs up so I can kind of bump that up on the top of my to-do list for videos. If you guys really want to see that, then I can kind of rearrange my filming schedule and get that going. But back to the bronzer. I like it. It's nice. The next new product is also from Morphe. These are new products on the Ulta website. I just recently got mine in the mail, but these have been out for maybe 2 months or so, but they're the Wake Up Artist concealers and correctors. So let me pull this up on the app and kind of give you some details about it. So there are 24 shades total to include the concealers and the corrector shades. They are $12 a piece. So let's go to the details, and it says brighten, correct, and smooth the appearance of under eyes. Hydrating, non-drying formula, comfortable all-day wear. It's got arnica, sweet potato extract, tremella mushroom, hyaluronic acid, and glycerin known to hydrate the skin, which is all great. I like some skincare benefits. And so it says it's a lightweight serum-infused Wake Up Artist under eye correcting concealer to brighten, correct, and smooth the appearance of under eyes with a naturally radiant finish for comfortable all-day wear. So I picked up 2 shades. I like the component, but here's what I'm going to say about the component. I kind of go back and forth with how I feel about these types of kind of frosted plastic or frosted glass, because I feel like it makes it just a little bit hard to actually see the true tone of the color of the product inside because of that frosted type of look to it. So that could be kind of a con there, but just kind of wanted to tell you just my thoughts as it comes to mind. So I'm going to start off with the lightest shade, the Wake Up Artist Under Eye. This is the corrector in the shade Blossom number 01. So this is the pink one. There's the applicator. And I'm going to swatch this on the back of my hand so you can see what that looks like. That is the Blossom shade. It's actually quite pink looking. On camera, it kind of looks a little bit lighter, but it actually is a brightening shade. So I think it's going to be nice for my fair skin. Now the concealer, I hope, fingers crossed that I got the right shade. I chose Ivory 3N. I don't know how this is going to look. Again, the applicator on the concealer is the same as the corrector. So let me swatch this shade 3N. Okay, that's actually kind of doable. I think I'll be okay. It is a little light, but it's fine. I hope that it's not too brightening with the brightener underneath. But that is the Blossom Brightener and the Ivory 3N concealer. For the brightener, I'm going to just do 1 dot right out here. And let's just do that and kind of compare the brightness. I do have dark circles under my eyes today. I didn't sleep well. I'm going to use a Morphe M135 concealer brush. I didn't sleep very well. We had a storm last night, and whenever we have a thunderstorm that's pretty intense, my daughters come to my room, and I don't sleep very well because they are all over the bed. And I'm like shielding myself because they're kicking and elbowing me, and so my under eyes are quite busted today, and I've got quite a bit to cover, so this is a great day to test this out. So I'm going to continue blending this in with this brush. This is actually a really nice concealer brush. It's also from Morphe. Okay, so let's compare. This is the side that we did the corrector, and then this is the under eye with nothing on. I do think that it definitely brightened and kind of just made my complexion look just a little bit more awake. So I do like it. And I also like how this is brightening with a hint of pink, but it's not overly pink. I have some brighteners in my collection that are very pigmented, and the tone of the pink is intense, so you can actually still kind of see it. This I feel like I could use with like a no makeup look and not put concealer over the top and be just fine. It blended out nicely. It looks beautiful under the eyes, so I'm excited about this. I feel like that's a win. Now let's go into the concealer, the 3N shade, and do the same thing, just 1 dot. Going back in with that same brush, and we're going to just kind of pat and blend this right over the top, and we'll compare to see what it actually looks like with both of the steps done. So here is the side with the concealer and the brightener, and then nothing again. So I do think that it definitely elevated the brightness under the eyes, and I think you can really see that. I just wanted to point out that I do have a little bit of a dry patch right in through here, so it's not blending very well over that, and of course I kind of expected that because the texture is just a little bit more rough. I honestly don't really know what's going on. I don't know if maybe I got one of my serums too close to the under eye, or just going through a dry spell that happens to be right there, but just wanted to point that out. I think what I'm going to do is take my beauty sponge that's been slightly damp and just try to pat right over that area to smooth it over as best as I can. But aside from that little spot not blending out very well because of the texture of the skin underneath, I do think that the formula is really nice. It feels hydrating, but it's not too wet, not too goopy. I feel like it will play nice with other products. I feel like it'll set nicely, which I will be setting this as I always do with one of my go-to powders from the drugstore. So I do like this. And blended out really nicely. I'm actually impressed. I'm really impressed with this formula. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to set my under eyes today with one of my go-to powders from the drugstore. It's the Infallible Blur Fection powders from L'Oreal. I adore this formula, so I'm going to use a kind of go-to just so I can see what this concealer is going to do as the day goes on. Is it going to stay exactly as it looks right now? Is it going to get drier? If anything changes, again, I know that's going to be the concealer and not the powder because this is a go-to of mine. I love this formula, and I'm going to use my powder puff to set the under eyes. Moving on to the next new product in today's lineup is a new bronzer from NYX. It's actually more of a shade extension. So the Buttermelt Bronzers, there are 3 new very warm tone shades. And now the shade range is consisting of 10 total shades. They're $10 a piece, and this is the same formula that we've already come to expect and know, love, and use on a regular basis. It's actually a very smooth, very creamy type of bronzer. Even though it's a powder, it does feel quite creamy. There are 3 warm shades, and I purchased the lightest one, the light medium warm, and it's called Butta Ballin. The design and the component is exactly the same. The only thing different are the 3 new warm shades. So I like this one. This one is quite warm actually, and I like the pattern, the wave. It's a very kind of smooth, like I said, the same exact formula as we've come to expect, but this is going to be much more on the warmer side, and that is the lightest shade there. Quite warm. So we'll see how that actually looks blended over the cream bronzer from Morphe that we did earlier. So let's get a brush. I'm going to use a pointed powder brush from e.l.f. and I'm going to just take a little bit of this. One thing that I learned really early on with the Buttermelt formulas for bronzers and blushes, they're incredibly pigmented. So you want to add a little bit, tread softly. So just kind of gently tap your brush to coat it evenly over all sides. I'm going to tap off some of that onto a napkin, kind of dust off the excess onto my hand, and I'm going to just lightly sweep, and I can immediately pick up that kind of summery. It kind of reminds me of the Physicians Formula scent. Very similar, kind of tropical, kind of coconutty. It smells really nice, but if you don't like fragrances, you may not like this. But it does go away. I don't feel like I ever really get whiffs of the scent throughout the day when I use my Buttermelt products. I think it's just initially when you first put your brush in there and have that kick up, that's when you're going to pick up the scent, or if you kind of get close and smell the pan. But I actually like the scent. And of course, this is blending out beautifully, which I kind of already knew because I do like the other color that I have in this formula. Let me compare the new shade of the Buttermelt Bronzer to my existing shade. So I have the shade All Buttered Up, which is light medium. It says warm, but when you actually compare the old shade to the new color that's out, you can definitely see there is a difference. The older shade does seem a little bit more on the cool side compared to the new shade extension. I do like it, and it blended out nicely. I do feel like I am quite bronzed today, which is fine. And I like this formula. I have no complaints about this, so this is another win. Next up is another product from Morphe that is fairly new. It's been out for about a month now, and I'm just now getting my hands on one of the shades. I think this shade specifically was sold out over on the TikTok shop, and I finally ordered it through Ulta because I wanted to try this so badly. I have seen this all over social media. It's the Blind Date shade in the Cheek Thrills blush palette. Look at that. I like the component. Now, I only picked one shade because I wanted to experience the formula, and I chose the shade Blind Date because it looked like it would be something I could reach for more often. Now, they have 2 other shades, I believe, that I really have my eye on that I may get if this works out for me today. So on the inside, these are going to give you 3 different options, and you may have already seen this, but I am so excited about this. These are the Cheek Thrills Multi-Finish Face Trios. These are a little bit pricey. They're $19 a piece. There's 7 options on the Ulta site. So the Blind Date shade that I chose is a mid-tone pink. And so it says here that it features 3 textures, a satin cream, a luminous balm, and a velvet powder in monochromatic tones. Mix and match for custom colors, effects, and finishes, which is very cool. I like mixing my products, so this to me is very exciting and actually quite fun for me to use. And I like that it has a luminous balm, a satin cream, and a velvet powder. So you may be thinking that this is giving Patrick Ta, it's giving one size with the sort of setup, and you'd be right. So Patrick Ta has the cream and powder, which we've all have experienced. I'm sure at some point you've tried these or you've seen these. And what I loved about the Patrick Ta was that he included a plastic window to cover the creams, which is absolutely genius. So it prevents the kick up from the powder kind of coming up into the creams and ruining it. So I love that. And then the one size is probably the closest because it has those 3 options that looks like this. And again, Patrick decided to include a plastic window, which again is genius, just like Patrick Ta did. But this one is going to just be a smaller size, and the plastic window is just here. And both of these are powders. So a powder kind of matching blush, and then the kind of shimmer highlighter. But I like how the one from Morphe put the 2 creams together. So you have the satin blush here, the luminous balm, and both of them are covered with an actual plastic like hard piece to cover that, and then the powders at the bottom. So I think it's very nice, and it's okay to take inspo from other brands, and I'm not mad at that. But I also think that they did something slightly different by giving us a luminous balm versus it just being a cream and a powder, which would be too close to what these other 2 brands are giving us. So they did something different. They took the idea and ran with it, but did something different. So kudos to them. Now let's go ahead and stop talking about this and put this on. I'm going to start with the cream, which is the top pan. And I'm going to use, again, my Duo Complexion brush from e.l.f., which is one of my absolute favorite brushes. It's truly a must-have. And I'm going to try to get my brush in there. Now, that's the con that I would have to say with these products like this that are a little bit more narrow pans. It's kind of hard to get your brush in there at once to coat it evenly. So you kind of have to rotate your brush a little bit. Honestly, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. You just have to move your brush around, and you kind of get over that real quick. And go straight over the bronzers. Ooh, that's nice. That is really pretty. I like that shade. I need a little bit more. I like it. I feel like Morphe is definitely improved drastically from what I remember years ago. So I do like how this looks. I'm going to point out that when you put your finger in there, you kind of see a little bit of a glossy kind of finish to it, but it's actually quite pretty when you blend it on with a brush. And let me just show you the swatch of the shade. This is the cream in the Blind Date palette. Really pretty. Super soft, buttery smooth. That's the luminous balm, which I'm glad that it doesn't have as much pigment because this will be great to use as a topper or a mixer. Wow, okay, I need to pick up a little bit more of that. Let me do a better swatch for you. And then here's the powder. So those are the 3 in the Blind Date. So pretty. But I like how easy this formula is to blend out. I'm actually going to top the cream with the powder. And I'm just going to tap that powder right over the top. And I'm using one of my double-ended brushes from the Ulta collection. This is the 144 Dual Finishing Powder brush, which I like how it has one big side for bronzers and powders. Then this side you can use for blush, highlight, setting powder. You can do so much with this one brush. And now let's go ahead and use the luminous balm, which is in the very center. And I'm going to use my fingers to apply this. And I'm just going to kind of lightly tap and then blend. This does have more pigment when you put a lot on. So I'm just going to tap out just a little bit and just kind of bring it a little lower, just not too close to my nose. Ooh, that's pretty. It gives just a hint of glow, but it doesn't feel too wet. It doesn't feel greasy. It actually feels quite nice. I'm impressed. If you haven't gathered that, I'm actually very impressed with this formula. I am back, and I did my eyes off camera just to save some time in today's video, and it was an e.l.f. kind of day for the eyeshadow. So let me just talk you through what I did. I used one of the newer eyeshadow palettes from e.l.f. This is the Keep It Ethereal. It's the 10-pan palette that looks like this. I did review this several weeks ago, and I basically just took some of those mattes, that kind of rosy shade, with the cool tone color into the crease with a little bit of the warmth. Use that kind of peachy tone to blend up towards the crease, and then this dark matte brown to do shadow liner on the top and bottom lashes. And then the glitter that I'm using is also from e.l.f. and it is one of their finest Fleck glitter shadows in the shade called White Hot, which looks like this, and it's a beautiful kind of icy white glitter topper type shade. So I use my finger to apply that all over. And then again, the liner is the shadow liner from the palette that I use, that sort of dark brown color with a little detail brush. And now we get to use the next new product in today's lineup, and that is actually a new mascara. CoverGirl released the new Lash Blast Bond Mascara. Love this soft lilac tube. There's 3 shades, and I think also they have some waterproof options. These are $12.99. It says, lock in instant definition and volume with CoverGirl Lash Blast Bond Mascara formula. Infused with bonding complex, visibly improves lash quality while delivering 5 times more volume in one coat. And it has a little asterisk, so we'll have to see about that. The caring formula is infused with a bonding complex that conditions and nourishes lashes. Visibly improves lash quality while delivering an eye-catching 5 times more volume in one coat versus other mascaras. Precision curve mascara brush lifts and separates each lash for a defined, fanned-out look that lasts all day, smudge-proof, flake-proof, and clump-free. The packaging looks like the original Lash Blast. Say that 10 times fast. It's like a tongue twister. The brush also has a very similar curve from just kind of thinking back to when I used to use the orange tube mascara, and I think it's about the same, but that's what the brush looks like. And I bought the shade Extreme Black. I don't have anything on my lashes now, so we're going to do one side and we'll kind of compare and see what the difference is. So I'm going to start with one coat. And the actual wand itself is like a plastic type of applicator. So if you get too close to your waterline, you will feel kind of like a little bit of a pokiness happen. So that is one good coat on this side, and then my bare lashes. And I do think it made quite a bit of a difference. It definitely lengthened my lashes, gave them a nice lift, and it actually didn't create any clumps from inner corner to outer corner. And I do like that. It's very soft, very natural with just that one coat. I like to be extra, and I'm gonna go in with a second coat, as I always do with pretty much any mascara, and let's build this up and see what happens with that second coat. And so here is the look of the mascara. This is 2 coats on this side and then my bare lashes, so you can see a difference. I do like this mascara, but I do feel like it's quite natural for my personal preferences. I like lashes that are longer, thicker, more volumized. Just as much drama that I can get out of my mascara is what I'm going for without crossing into that spidery lash territory. So I do think that this is quite soft. It's not as dramatic as I want it. Now for me, how does this play into my routine? I think I would probably use this on those days where I don't put any eye makeup on, no eyeshadow, no eyeliner, just like a no makeup, just kind of running out the door, just quick Costco run, going to the grocery store, maybe going to catch a movie and not putting on a lot of effort into the eye makeup. Then I would use this because it does look really soft and natural. If you're looking for mascara that gives you a lot of drama, a lot of intensity, I don't think you're gonna get that with this. But if you like soft, wispy, just light type of lashes, I think you will enjoy this. And you know, CoverGirl mascaras have always just been okay for me. I've never been a huge fan of them. I think that there are other drugstore brands that are better at mascaras, that excel more. And I feel like as I'm talking, my lashes seem to be kind of almost dropping a little bit, right? Or is it just me? No, I think it is. I think it is. I'm not seeing things. I feel like as I'm talking and explaining my thoughts, I feel like the mascara just is kind of weighing it down. So maybe if I do one coat, let it dry a little bit, and then try to build that second coat, maybe it might, I don't know. Let's try it. Let's go in with one coat on this left eye and let that kind of hang out for a minute, and then we build from there. But you can definitely tell that this side, which is one coat, has a little bit more lift to it than this side with 2 coats. So I'm gonna let this hang out, kind of fan it, speed this process along, and then build a second coat. Coat number 2. Coat number 2 with letting the first coat kind of dry just a couple seconds in between. And I do think that that definitely helped, but as you can see, this is what it looks like with 2 coats. Freshly applied, and then here the lashes are starting to go down and kind of not have that lift that it initially had. So I'm gonna let it sit here and just kind of see what happens, and I'm gonna put some of this onto my lower lashes as well. I never have issues with mascaras transferring or doing anything kind of weird under my lashes, so I'm not concerned with that with this mascara. So let's just do a little bit on my bottom lashes real quick. I don't know if you can see, but I'm starting to get some major clumping actually on here, here, and here with this mascara on this side. So let me try to get my lash comb and kind of clean that up. That's not a good sign. I'm gonna let this mascara kind of hang out and dry a little bit, but I just wanted to point out that when I was using the mascara, I just personally don't feel like I had quite a bit of a substantial grip to this. I don't know if it's because I'm not used to their packaging and mascara. It's been years since I've used their, Lash Blast line of mascara, but also the inside, let me go ahead and screw this in. The inside feels like the actual wand is not really secure inside of the tube. So let me take this out to show you what I mean. So you know how this wand is kind of secured inside of the cap? I don't feel like it's quite secure. So I feel like that also doesn't help with having a good sort of secure grip to it. And, I'm just not a fan. I just feel like it's starting to drop. Like I said, on this side is still okay. I didn't like the clumps, and that was the first time using it. So I don't know what's going to happen in a week or 2 weeks. Is it going to be even more clumpy? Could this mascara get better as it sits in the drawer? Sure. Most mascaras tend to do that. The first time is not always a go. So we'll see what happens when this is sitting in my drawer for about a week. Let's move on to some lip products. And when this brand launches some new lip products, I'm going to be all over it. And it was just a matter of time before I got my hands on them. e.l.f. has these new Glow Reviver lip balms. These are the Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balms. I bought 2 shades. The first one is Strawberry Shortcake, and the second is the Wild Cherry. So I don't know, something just kind of told me to go out of my comfort zone and choose something like this. I'm thinking lip balms don't have that much of a tint to it, so this probably won't be, in my mind, as bright, but we'll see because I'm going to try them for the first time with you. So I just picked 2 shades. An everyday type shade that is so me, and then something just a little bit different just to kind of switch it up. These retail for $9, and there are 6 options available on the Ulta site. The Shortcake shade is the lightest. This is the brightest, and then they have some other shades that are like dark brown. Then they have some shades that are kind of berry tones. So I'm super excited. This says it's formulated with 10% butter blend plus hyaluronic acid blend. This richly hydrating tinted lip balm melts into lips and leaves them feeling soft and supple. And let's go in with the lightest shade, which is called Strawberry Shortcake. Just quickly, I noticed this one does have a kind of sweet scent, and I am kind of picking up a hint of strawberry. I wonder if the scent of them corresponds with the name of the color. That's interesting. Kind of sweet, smells yummy. And it has that typical lip balm applicator with a slant and kind of like a soft, kind of cushiony applicator. So let's go ahead. Let me swatch this one for you first. So this is the Strawberry Shortcake shade. Look how pretty that looks. That's like perfect for every day. Let's go ahead and put it on. Oh yeah. And here is Strawberry Shortcake. I do like how this feels. There's like a thinness to it, but it's hydrating. It feels comforting, feels nourishing. I love this formula. I'm very impressed. I just wish that this had a little bit more color against my natural pigmented lips. You don't really see it. It almost comes off kind of clear. So maybe paired with a lip liner, I'm probably going to get just a little bit more color and just more of a fuller lip look. For me, just this on its own, I feel like I'm kind of missing out on something. I'm so used to using lip liners and just kind of layering products, but the shine, yes, I love. How pretty. Let's go ahead and take this off and go in with the next shade, which I'm very excited about. This one is called Wild Cherry. Let me swatch this one. Whoa. Okay, pigment. This is Wild Cherry. Now I'm kind of scared because I typically don't wear vibrant red kind of pinky shades often, hardly ever. I thought this was going to be much less pigmented. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's go for it. I may love the way this looks. So let's just go ahead and apply Wild Cherry. Oh, yes. I actually like that. And this is Wild Cherry. What do you guys think of the shade? I think it's quite fun, honestly. I'm not sure if it's the right shade to go with such warm tone eyes. I feel like I would want to pair this with a cool tone eye, maybe like a cool tone cheek moment. Maybe that could be my look for tomorrow, but I like the formula, and I'm really surprised at how much pigment the Wild Cherry had. That is very intense, right? But the feel of it feels so nice, luxurious feeling. Fills in the lines of the lips. It's kind of thin, but it's not too thin where it's going to disappear, but it's not so thick. It's not goopy. It's not sticky. And the shininess of it, it's a win. I love I actually really do like these. So I took that product off from e.l.f. because I have one more new lip product. Now this has been out for quite some time. It's just new to me and I thought I'd just plug it into this video. It's one of the Cocokind Ceramide Lip Balms. And I have been wanting to try these. The packaging is absolutely adorable. It has like a little bit of an opening here at the base where you can actually put little charms on. And I think it would be kind of cool if Ulta could sell some of the Cocokind little charms that you see on social media, so you can put that on there and just kind of dazzle it up. But you can also buy those on Amazon really cheap and kind of add something really fun to it. But the packaging is really, really nice. I pulled this up on the Ulta site. It's a Ceramide Lip Blur Balm. Hydrating and smoothing lip treatment. I have the clear shade because I bought this with the intent of keeping this upstairs when I do my skincare routine. There's 5 shades total for $11.99. And I do have my eye on the pink shade. It's a coral pink. It's called Be Kind. So the clear one is called Be Real. I did recently get some Cocokind products and I'm excited to integrate them into my skincare routine. And this is definitely one of the products that I had my eye on. So it says that it is a hydrating and smoothing lip treatment infused with skin-loving ceramides and peptides. Nourishing lip balm locks in hydration and blurs for a fuller, plump look. Glides on smooth and soft, designed for sensitive lips without flavor, fragrance, or common irritants. Great. I love that. I like how they kind of highlighted that there's no flavor to it. There's no fragrance. As with the e.l.f. ones, you do kind of taste, and I didn't mention that, I think I forgot, but I did kind of pick up a sweet kind of flavor to it. And you inevitably get lip balm and lip products in your mouth as you talk or try them on. So just kind of pointing that out. And I like how the Cocokind does not have flavors or fragrances. Let's just go ahead and go in with the clear. And let's just go ahead and apply this. Oh yeah, this feels nice. And this is the Cocokind Ceramide Lip Blur in Be Real. And of course, because this is clear, you don't really see anything but the natural color of my lips. But let me tell you, this formula feels incredible. It feels so hydrating, so comforting. I just feel like I should have tried these sooner. And I should have just ordered more shades. I should have just gone for it, bought a couple of the colors. But I'm happy that I got the clear because now I get to use this in the mornings with my skincare routine and right before bed. And I adore how this feels. It kind of feels like it kind of filled in the lips and created like a cushiony kind of feel, like a plumpness, a smoothness. It feels hydrated. It's checking off every single box, absolutely. I'm back with a completed lip look and it was just so incredibly simple. So let me talk you through what I ended up doing off camera. I took my lip liner from L'Oreal. This is the Color Riche Anti-Feathering Lip Liner in the shade called All Naturale. I lined and I filled in my lips. So this is the primary color that you're seeing on my lips right now. And then I took both of those 2 new lip balms, the Shortcake, Strawberry Shortcake from e.l.f. with the clear Cocokind one, and I mixed the 2 and that's the look. It's so easy, a lip balm and a lip liner. I honestly started off with this because I am obsessed with this, like an automatic yes. This is incredible, but I wanted just a tint of color, so I added this on top, but honestly, these 2 together were just stunning, super easy. It's like minimal effort, line and fill, top it with a clear balm, and you're good to go. And this is the end result. I actually really like how everything turned out. The one product so far that I'm just not a big fan of is the mascara, the bonding mascara from CoverGirl, but everything else blended out nicely. It looks really beautiful. It's kind of like bronzy with a bit of color. It's kind of glowy, but it's not too luminous. It's not too dewy. I actually think it looks pretty. And then of course I love the glitter that I added in off camera because I'm in my glitter era and I love it. So I hope you enjoyed this video seeing some of the new products from the drugstore. Stay tuned because I've got some more newness coming your way. I've just decided to kind of split things up and just make it just a little bit easier to watch by kind of splitting it up into multiple videos. So subscribe. I do post every Tuesday and every Friday. You can also follow me on Instagram and social media. I do have TikTok as well. All that information with the links is in the description box down below. Tell me your thoughts on this look and these products. What are you thinking? Have you tried? Let me know. Have a great day. Thanks for being here and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.